At Christmas, my mom showed our old photo albums to my fiancé. He froze, grabbed my hand, and whispered, "Don't you see it?" "See what? How can you not see it?" He showed me, and I couldn't unsee it. 5 hours later, I called the police. I always thought if something like this ever happened, something life-upending, something worth telling a therapist or a documentary crew, it would come with music. You know, that low hum in the background. A cinematic tension, maybe a thunderclap. But no. There was potato salad, there was overcooked lamb, there was my mom, humming Mariah Carey while wiping the kitchen counter like she hadn't just weaponized nostalgia for the 20th consecutive year. No thunder, just that weird smell our house always has over the holidays, lemon cleaner and something vaguely burnt. I wasn't expecting anything. That's the thing. I walked in like I always do, smiled like I always do, pretended this wasn't going to be another annual reminder that I never quite fit into the frame. My fiancé, Lucas, was his usual calm self. Observant, quiet, the kind of man who could make a living just by noticing things. I brought him because I thought he could anchor me. Joke's on me, I guess. My sister Nina was already there, swirling her wine and wearing something beige and expensive-looking. Her boyfriend nodded a lot. My parents smiled like they meant it. Dinner was dinner. Familiar, tight-lipped, tense beneath the surface. The roast was dry. The rakia was sharp. My mom asked Nina about her new job. My dad asked Lucas about the computers, like he'd never met a millennial before. No one asked me anything. But that's standard. I used to get upset. Now I just count how long it takes for them to pretend I'm not there. This year, 9 minutes. After dessert, Mom did what she always does. She clapped her hands and said, "I brought the albums out," like it was a surprise and not something she had planned with military precision. She always brings the albums, always acts like she just happened to find them in the hallway closet under a pile of dish towels, and we all smile, like we haven't seen the same stained pages 100 times before. Nina leaned in like she was watching an award show. Her boyfriend put on his best interested face. Lucas sat next to me, quiet. I watched him more than the pictures. First album, birthdays, beach trips, awkward school photos. Second album, Nina as a baby, Mom glowing, Dad proud. Third album, me. That's when Lucas changed. He didn't say anything at first, but I saw it. The way his shoulders tensed. The way he squinted at one page, then another. The way he tilted his head the exact same way he does when he's retouching a photo and spots a bad crop. He was scanning, measuring, and then, without looking at me, he grabbed my hand under the table. "Don't you see it?" he whispered. I blinked. "See what? How can you not see it?" Then he dropped my hand and went back to flipping pages like nothing had happened, smiling, nodding at my mom's commentary about how I once tried to feed a pine cone to a stray cat. I sat there frozen. My ears were ringing. I tried to match his rhythm, keep my smile in place, but it felt like my skin was on backwards. When I leaned in and asked him again, he shook his head slightly. "I'll explain later," he said. "Just go along with it." Which is honestly the emotional motto of my entire childhood. We left 20 minutes later. Lucas made up something about an early flight, or maybe it was a late Zoom call. My mom fussed. My dad didn't care. Nina didn't look up from her phone. I kissed everyone goodbye like I wasn't unraveling inside. In the car, Lucas reached into his coat and pulled out a few loose photos. He must have taken them from the pile beside the albums. I hadn't even noticed. "Look," he said. I did. Kind of. The first one was me in a pink coat, standing in front of a stone wall. I'd seen it before. It lived in my memory like bad wallpaper. "What?" I said. "It's just a photo." He handed me 2 more. "Same face," he said. "Same angle, same smile, same shadows. Look closer." I looked, and then I saw it. It was me. The exact same version of me, copy-pasted into different settings. One in front of a fence, one by a swing set, one at a fountain. But the expression never changed. Not one muscle. "They reused my face," I said. My voice sounded strange, like it came from the back of my throat. He nodded. Then he handed me another. A baby, pale, lighter hair, different bone structure. "That's not you," he said. "I don't think they ever had baby pictures of you." Last one. Me, Mom, and Dad in front of some old building. My outline was fuzzy. The shadows didn't match. I looked like a sticker someone forgot to finish peeling. I stared at it for a long time. Then I laughed. Not a real laugh. The kind of sound you make when something breaks in your head. "So I'm a collage," I said. "That's fun." Lucas didn't laugh. "Why would they fake this?" I asked. He didn't answer. Neither did I. I didn't know it yet, but 5 hours later, I would be calling the police. The thing about denial is that it doesn't break all at once. It leaks, like an old pipe under the sink, that everyone agrees not to talk about. You know it's dripping, you hear it, smell it, but you keep washing your hands and walking away. I stared at those photos all night. Lucas eventually fell asleep beside me, but I didn't move. Just sat there in bed like some kid waiting for monsters to show up, except the monsters already had names: Mom and Dad. The photos were lined up on my nightstand. I kept checking them, like they were going to fix themselves while I wasn't looking. They didn't. My face was still there, pasted, triplicated, frozen in some preset expression I didn't remember making. That baby? Still not me. The lighting? Still all wrong. And it hit me, not as a scream or some thunderclap of realization, but like a whisper I couldn't unhear. I had no idea where I came from. I mean that literally. I have no memories before I was 5. None. When I was younger, I used to think that was normal. Or maybe not normal exactly, but at least explainable. My parents said it was because of the war. I was little, they said. I was traumatized, they said. The brain protects itself, they said. They said a lot of things, and I believed them. Because what's the alternative? Telling your second-grade teacher that you think you skipped being a toddler, that your earliest memory is of standing in a fluorescent-lit hallway in a new country with your mom telling you to smile at someone holding a clipboard? Yeah, that was my first real memory. The immigration office, the buzz of lights, the feeling that everything was loud and cold and wrong. I didn't understand English yet, but I understood the look in my mom's eyes. Perform. From there, it was normal. As normal as it could be. We had a little apartment. I started school. My mom packed my lunches like the other moms did, except she didn't write notes. She sent me off with perfectly folded napkins instead. My dad read the paper like it owed him money. They worked hard. They gave me what I needed. But love? That was something else. When my sister Nina was born 2 years later, the temperature in the house changed overnight. Suddenly there were baby books and camcorder footage and scrapbooks with glitter letters. There were birthday parties with coordinated themes. There were spa days. There were hugs. There was warmth. None of that had been there for me, ever. With me, it was always, "You're strong. You're independent. You never needed much," which is just another way of saying we didn't give you much. I used to tell myself it was because I was older, because I was first, because they were figuring it out. But now I wasn't so sure. There were no aunts, no uncles, no cousins. No one ever visited from the old country. We never went back. My parents said they had no one left. It was war, they said. Everyone is scattered. I asked about family once. My dad said it was complicated. My mom changed the subject. And then there was the Facebook message. I was 15. I walked into the kitchen and saw her on the laptop. She was staring at a message in a language I couldn't read at the time. Serbian. There was a name I didn't recognize. A woman. The message had hearts in it. My mom's face was blank. Then she deleted it. Blocked the sender, closed the laptop. When I asked who it was, she said, "Spam. Spam doesn't send you messages that make your hands shake." But I let it go. Because I always let it go. I was diagnosed with PTSD at 17. Nightmares, panic attacks. This dull, ever-present fear like something was always about to happen, like I was waiting for a door to slam that never did. My therapist asked me about the war. I told her I didn't remember it. She said that was probably why. Except now I know. I wasn't scared of the war. I was scared of her. I didn't remember that right away. It didn't hit like lightning. It came in pieces. That night, as I sat at the kitchen table staring at the photos Lucas had taken, one memory blinked to life like a flashlight in a dark room. A woman. Not my mother, not the one who raised me. Someone else. A softer face. Dark eyes. She smelled like citrus. I was holding her hand. And then, there was another woman. Not the one who raised me. Someone else. Softer voice. Gentle hands. I was holding her hand. Then the woman I grew up calling Mom walked in. She was younger, smiling like she'd just arrived. The first woman leaned down and said, in Serbian, "This is your babysitter." That was the first time I met her. Then another flash. Me, pulling on a coat, crying, saying, "I want Mama," and a hand on my shoulder, tight. "Don't say that again. If you talk about her, you disappear." I remember those words now. I didn't before, but they were there, buried under years of being told to smile for the camera. And then, the screaming. I was in a bed. New. Strange. My legs kicking. My chest burning. I was calling for her. The first woman. The one who smelled like citrus. And another voice. Cold. Enough. I don't know how long the panic lasted. Maybe minutes. Maybe centuries. Lucas found me on the kitchen floor, gasping, my palms flat against the tiles like I was trying to hold on to something. He tried to touch me. I flinched. He sat beside me instead, not saying anything. And somewhere, in the middle of that, still on the floor, breath caught in my throat, vision swimming, I reached for my phone and dialed 911. The operator picked up on the third ring. 911, what's your emergency? My chest was caving in. My mouth opened, but no sound came out at first. Lucas was still kneeling beside me, one hand on my back, steadying my breath like he could anchor it. I finally forced the words out. "I've been kidnapped." A pause. Sharper now. "Ma'am, are you safe right now?" I think so. I'm home." "Is the person who took you with you now?" No, it was a long time ago, I think. I just remembered it." Another pause. Then a shift in tone, gentle, still controlled. "Okay, take a breath for me. You're not in danger right now?" "No, but it's real. I remember now. They weren't my parents." Lucas reached over and took the phone. "Hi, this is her fiancé. She's having a panic attack. Just came on about 15 minutes ago. She's been uncovering some things. Childhood photos that look clearly edited, no birth records, weird inconsistencies, and she just had a very vivid memory. She believes she was abducted when she was around 5. It would have happened 25 years ago, outside the U.S. The operator stayed calm. "I understand. What's your location?" Lucas gave our address. "I'm going to log this as a welfare check and forward it to the department's investigative unit," she said. "You'll get a call from someone to follow up. If either of you feels unsafe in the meantime, don't wait. Call us back immediately." Lucas thanked her. Hung up. I was still shaking, but the words had been said, out loud, to someone real, and there was no undoing that. I didn't sleep. I showered, changed clothes, folded laundry I didn't remember putting in. I think I emptied the dishwasher at one point. Lucas hovered, made tea, watched me like I was glassware in an earthquake. "You should rest," he said at one point. I nodded, didn't move. I kept expecting someone to knock on the door, or burst through it, or for the floor to just fall out from under me. Instead, the apartment stayed quiet, humming softly like it didn't care what was happening to me. The next morning I got an email, case file opened, pending contact from an assigned officer. Someone would be in touch. That was it. I showed Lucas. He read it twice, then just nodded. "It's real now," he said. Real. Like it hadn't been real when I was curled on the kitchen floor, trying to remember if I'd ever actually had a mother. The knock came 2 days later. 3 taps. Measured, calm, like a favor. I opened the door and saw my mom holding a brown paper bag like she was delivering cookies. My dad stood slightly behind her, hands in his coat pockets, face neutral. "Can we come in?" she asked, already stepping forward. Lucas appeared beside me. I nodded slowly and let them in. They sat on the couch like they were guests. My mom put the paper bag on the coffee table. "I brought some of that soup you like, the carrot one, from when you were sick that time." That time I was 8, and she told me to stop crying because I wasn't dying? That soup? "Thanks," I said flatly. She smoothed her coat and looked around the apartment like it might help her figure out what to say. My dad stayed standing. "We spoke to the police," she said finally. "They said you filed a report." I did. She looked like she wanted to be offended but didn't have the energy. "You should have just come to us first. Would you have told me the truth?" She paused, blinked. "We didn't want to hurt you." Lucas spoke. "So it's true." My dad finally stepped forward. "Yes," he said. "You're not biologically ours." I exhaled through my nose. Not relief, just confirmation of something I already knew, but needed someone to say out loud. My mom nodded. "Your mother was young, very young. She couldn't take care of you. She begged us to take you with us." "Begged?" I said. "She wanted you to have a better life. We were leaving and she was staying behind. It was war. She knew what that meant." "So where is she now?" My mom folded her hands. "We don't know." "You never checked?" "It was complicated." Lucas crossed his arms. "Why fake the photos?" My dad didn't flinch. "We didn't want her to feel like she didn't belong." "So you erased her real life and invented one?" Lucas asked. My mom's voice cracked. "You were 5. You cried for her for weeks. It was awful. But you adjusted. You forgot. We thought it was better that way." "You could have told me." "And said what?" she snapped. "That we took you from your mother? That you had a life you'd never remember? You would have hated us." "You think I don't?" Silence. Then she pulled something from her bag. A photo. Me, maybe 6 years old, holding my dad's hand. "This one's real," she said, like that was supposed to fix it. I didn't touch it. They stood. My dad looked at Lucas, then at me. "We didn't steal you. We rescued you." I didn't answer. Neither did Lucas. And the worst part? For about 10 seconds, I almost believed them. I didn't ask them gently. I said, "Tell me her name." My mom blinked, like she didn't understand the question. My dad did his usual thing where he rubbed his face like he was exhausted by the weight of having to deal with me. "You were 5, she said. "Your memories, they aren't reliable. Try me." She shook her head. "We didn't want to hurt you." "You already did." They looked at each other. Then my dad said the name like it was a confession. Mira Petrovich. No address, no contact, just the name. When I asked for more, my mom said, "We lost touch, it was war." Right. And apparently war also erases your ability to type a name into Google. We started searching that night. Lucas was on his laptop, I was on mine. My Serbian is passable when I'm talking to elderly relatives about food, but online research is another story. Mira Petrovich. Apparently not an uncommon name. There were a few dead ends, a florist in Novi Sad, a retired gym teacher in Belgrade. Then I clicked on a grainy Facebook profile. No smile, no filters, just a woman with dark hair pulled back, early 50s, faint lines around her eyes, and a face that made my stomach drop. I stared. Lucas leaned over. "She looks like you," he said. I shook my head slowly. "No, I look like her." It wasn't just a resemblance. It was the kind of similarity that makes you uncomfortable. The kind you don't see in the mirror until someone else points it out. Same jawline, same eyes, same expression when she wasn't trying to have one. She hadn't posted in months, but her About section listed a town in southern Serbia, the same one I'd heard once in passing when I was 10 and my mom slipped up. We sent a message. We used Google Translate. It probably sounded robotic, but Lucas checked it 3 times. I stared at the screen the entire time, like it might answer me back. "Hello, I was given your name. I think I might be your daughter." Then we waited. She replied the next morning, 1 line. "Can we talk?" We set up a video call. I don't remember agreeing to it. Lucas did all the clicking. I just sat there, wrapped in a blanket, feeling like I was about to meet someone from a dream I didn't know I'd had. And then her face appeared. She looked older than her profile photo, tired but still her. Still me. She didn't speak at first, just stared. Her hand went to her mouth like she needed to hold something in. "I wasn't sure," she said finally. "But now that I see you..." I wanted to say something, anything, but the words got stuck somewhere behind the lump in my throat. "I've been looking for you for 25 years, she said. "Your name. It wasn't Anna back then. It was Milena." I froze. Milena. It didn't sound familiar, but it felt right, like a shoe I hadn't worn in decades but still fit. I blinked, trying to stay steady. "Did you give me up?" Her face broke, not dramatically, not like in the movies, just this quiet collapse in her expression. Her mouth opened, then closed again. "No," she said. "God, no." She looked off screen for a second, like she needed to ground herself. Then she turned back. "You were 5. I had to leave you with someone I trusted, a neighbor, a friend, just for a couple hours while I ran to the municipal office to finalize some papers. When I came back, you were gone. They said your babysitter, left earlier, said you went with her. But you never came home." Her voice cracked. "We searched. I went to every police station, every camp. I posted flyers. I called shelters. Everyone said children get lost during war, but I knew you didn't get lost." She paused. "I just didn't know where to look." I sat very still. Lucas was the one who asked, "Did you ever apply to leave?" She nodded. "I was approved for a resettlement program. To the U.S. Families with children got priority. I had everything ready." She looked at me then. "But after you disappeared, they took me off the list. Not that I would have left without you." And then it hit me, harder than any memory. That's why they took me, why they needed me, why they edited me into those photos like I was some final puzzle piece. They didn't take me because they loved me. They took me because I got them out. We sat in silence for a while after that. Her eyes were red. Mine probably were too. Lucas didn't say anything, just sat next to me like he was trying to hold the edges of the room together. "I never knew where you went," she said softly. "I thought maybe someone took you over the border. I thought maybe you died. I didn't know what to hope for. I didn't know what to say to that. What do you say to a woman who lost you?" "They changed my name," I said instead. "Anna." She nodded, as if the sound of it hurt. "Milena was your grandmother's name." I don't know what I expected to feel. Rage? Relief? I felt hollow, like someone had reached inside and scooped everything out, but politely left the shell so I could continue functioning in public. 2 weeks later, we stood side by side at the precinct. She wore a navy coat. I brought the photos. The officer took our statements, asked us questions I barely remember answering. My mom, my real mom, unfolded a creased flyer from her purse. The original missing persons notice, my name, the first one, printed beneath a grainy photo. Milena Petrovich, age 5, last seen wearing a red scarf. "This is her," she told the officer. "This is my daughter." And for the first time, someone else nodded. We pressed charges, and I stopped pretending the past was something I owed to anyone but myself. It didn't go to trial. They were found guilty during the investigation. Immigration fraud, falsifying federal documents, and concealing a child abduction across international borders. Turns out they never gave up their Serbian passports. They just tucked them away in a drawer, right next to their moral compass. Their American citizenship was revoked. They were deported within 6 months. No appeals, no second chances. And they can never come back. Nina stayed. Of course she did. She was born here. At first, she didn't say much, just stared at the floor a lot. Then one day she came over and said, "That was really messed up." It wasn't an apology exactly, but it was something. We talk more now than we ever did growing up. She's not my sister by blood, but she still knows how I take my coffee, and that counts for something. As for Mira, my real mother, she moved to the U.S. 6 months after everything settled. Family reunification program. Lucas and I helped with the paperwork. She got a job at a bakery near our apartment. Says it reminds her of the one she worked at when she was 21, before everything happened. We're planning the wedding. She's on the guest list. She cried when she got the invitation. The people who raised me lost everything, and honestly, they built their life on a lie. So when it collapsed, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. Did I go too far? Or not far enough? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.